can join with the penguin.
All right. Whoops. Welcome officially to Ask Me Anything Live. And what is today? The 19th. Holy cow, we're already the 19th. So if you're here, I apologize because I'll probably have another 3-year-old visitor in just a second, but my hubby should be home soon. Oh, I just heard him walk in. If you've got questions, feel free to unmute. You're welcome to type them in the chat. I'm going to open the chat here so that if anybody's in a place where they can't speak up, then they can at least type a question. I see Sona or Sana. Maybe it's Sonia. And then
hi there.
Hello, how are you?
I didn't realize there was just going to be a few of us. I didn't brush out my hair or anything, and see that my daughter has a picture of her penguin on my. She took off my picture. So anyway.
No worries. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How can I help?
I just recently had signed up for your newsletter, and it sounded interesting, and so I thought I'd see what this was all about. So since it is just a few of us, I will ask a question about. I just am starting my business.
Okay.
And it is a wellness. It is a health and wellness business around nutrigenetic. Nutrition. It's nutrition. It's genomic nutrition. Consulting.
Got it. Okay, got it.
And I'm going to be working with a business partner, but she's not she's just. I'm just going to be working with her. She's not going to be like 50% of the business type of thing. Mm-hmm. So in that case, and I did set my business up as an LLC.
Okay. And where are you based?
I was in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And I was wondering, so I did that to protect myself in case, I'm giving nutrition advice. And she is a psychologist. She's a psychotherapist.
Okay.
And I'll be working with her because we'll be doing like group coaching and that type of thing. So yeah. Does she also need to have her own LLC or some sort of protection, or was she? Because I didn't put her name under my LLC. Do you know if? Well, and if these are questions that I need to sign up for you for legal advice, and I totally understand. You don't have to.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I apologize. I keep wiping my lap because I spilled green tea all over myself just before I went live, so I'm mopping it up. So talk to me just really quick about, you said you're not going to be 50-50 in the business. What are the roles? What are you doing? What have you talked about? And just so you're clear, I can't technically give legal advice on any of these group calls.
Okay.
It's, what I tell you is what I would generally, tell anybody in similar circumstances. But that doesn't mean that it's a perfect fit for you. And depending on, what else you have going on, you may need advice that's specific to state law. So I'll just start with that, but let's walk you through it. Let's see what we can sort out. So what are your roles in your work, in your business?
So she will be assisting with, I will be doing the, getting the genetic test done for people and doing the consulting on that, giving them advice based on that. So I'll be doing the whole, consult, that type of thing.
What's your background? What's your...
So I have certifications in as a health and wellness coach and in the genetic nutrition. I also work that, I'm just starting it because I also work full-time at a tech company. So that's like my full-time job, but I really would like my hobby, to become my job. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to transition to.
Yeah.
And
are you going to be working on the genetic counseling, that's nutrition based? Are you going to be working with a specific company? Is it, because I think that there's a variety of tests in the marketplace, right? So are you working specifically with one company, or are you...
Right now I'm specifically working with one company where I work with who they work through to get the genetic test. And it's not a 23andMe, it's their own, because it wasn't 23. They were using 23andMe, but then it wasn't, as they stopped a lot of their reports and a lot of their tests that they do. So they did their own. And I'm working with them with their software. So this company, I'm also working I will be utilizing their software.
Okay.
And they do have all of the clients, like the clients that I will be using through their software. They have to sign something through, when they get they have to sign. There is a waiver that they have to sign and that type of thing.
Yeah, and so the short of it is, I would say I'm not up to speed on whether there are new regulations that that apply specifically to, and say the label of this field, nutritional genomics. What did you call it?
Yeah, nutrigenomics or genetic nutrition.
Yes. I expect that probably a lot of the same rules apply to anybody that's giving nutrition advice, which is that you have to be, in many states, and maybe you're already aware of this, you have to be a licensed dietitian, right? There are certain rules around what.
Yeah, I've looked into that, and Texas is, and I'm not saying that I'm a nutritionist, I'm a nutrition consultant.
Right. But I'm just saying, even nutrition coaches, even people who don't call themselves a dietitian, a nutritionist, right, but are giving any advice, and especially the one-on-one coaching, the risk is doing the one-on-one coaching, right? That's where you have the greatest risk. And so it'd be different if you just had an online program that's educational, informational, but when you are talking to somebody specifically about their scenario, it becomes a slippery slope into, one-on-one nutrition counseling, medical advice, etc. And so that's where it can be really, really clear on what the legal rules are that apply. And I expect that that we'll see new laws coming down, actually specifically related to that field. And so it'll be an area to watch. But I do know that there are rules around nutrition counseling. And so, if you're a nutrition coach in California and you move to Florida, you can't just continue your work and business in Florida, right? There have been certain cases. And also, and I don't know if you've come across, because I can share in the chat, maybe you've already found these websites. There are some resources out there that talk about rules by state.
Yeah, I looked into that.
Okay. And are you staying within Texas, so you're not crossing state boundaries then?
I'm in Texas, but I'll be doing online.
So this is the rub. You have to be very clear on what state you're doing business in, right? And includes cross border business, because if you've got a client out of Florida, you may not be able to do this work.
Okay.
Right. So this is what I'm trying to say as far as yes, it's good to know where you're based. Most people, obviously, that are in a licensed profession, so like a licensed dietitian, a licensed nutritionist, right? You're licensed within your own state. You're not licensed to cross state boundaries. And so you just have to be really, really aware of what the rules are, because there can be some stiff penalties, and some people have been, basically had their businesses shut down.
Okay, so I probably can't work with clients in other states that don't have the same rule around.
Yeah, you'd want to, and I'll just share these two links with you, because you could spend some time on here looking at, because these are websites that are dedicated to educating people who are in the nutrition field. And like, I'll pull up the first one around like what the laws are by state, and I think they have them color coded. One of these websites have them color coded, so you can kind of see, like, here it is. This was the first one. State regulation of nutrition practice, right? And this is a generalization. If you are concerned about specific states, or you're working with somebody in a specific state, or you would like to, I would recommend that you figure out the laws in that state before you undertake that work.
Okay.
So like Illinois, it's illegal to perform individualized nutrition counseling unless you are licensed or exempt, right, within that state.
Okay.
Right? In all the red states, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, Georgia, it is illegal to perform individualized nutrition counseling unless licensed or exempt, right? So you're just going to want to really make sure that you understand the state laws.
So I can't perform, even though I'm in a different state, I can't perform because they're in that state. So not that I'm performing in that state. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. So
Yeah,
you might just cross-reference both of those maps. Both of those links I just provided you give you a map for checking, by state, what the regulations kind of generally are as far as whether you are required to be licensed, right, etc. But the place to start, truthfully, always is with your own licensing, right? Looking at what you are licensed to do within your own state, and then double checking, because although I work with some coaches, I don't do a lot. And so state by state, like I don't have awareness of what all the rules are state by state. There are resources out there that do. But you definitely don't want to cross over into a state like Florida where you are, especially if you're not licensed, you're doing work that they require there that you be licensed within the state.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, and I think the second link has, you can click through, they actually have a list of requirements. So nutritionist requirements by state and licensed nutritionist requirements by state, registered dietitian requirements by state. So that second link that I provided has a whole host of resources there that you can check out by state.
Okay. I'll look into that. And it's just, so even just nutrition, not even medical. I mean, it's not medical advice. It's just nutrition.
Correct.
Okay.
Because you're dealing with the human body, and people give really bad advice in the field of nutrition all the time. And so it's states are increasingly concerned that because of the impact of bad advice, that there needs to be regulations around anybody who's giving nutrition advice. And so we're seeing a trend, but you'll just definitely want to understand who you're working with, where they're located, what rules apply, and just make sure that you are playing within the rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll look into that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as far as a partnership goes, back to your preliminary question around, so you are going to be providing the nutrition side of the counseling. Talk to me about what...
And yeah, we would be doing some group, some group coaching where I would be doing the nutrition side of it, and she would be involved in, she's a psychotherapist, so she would be involved from that, like, mindset coaching, like that kind of thing, where we just talking through if anybody has emotional issues, just getting to the root cause of people's issues, from all aspects, right, from nutrition and emotional and so that kind of thing. And so I was wondering so I registered myself as an LLC, my company as an LLC. So, but I didn't put her name on the LLC. So will she have to do her own?
Well, there's a couple ways to partner with people, right? So you could create a formal partnership, which you can do through an incorporated entity. You can do what's called a joint venture partnership, which is, there's a couple ways to do joint venture, right? Some people formalize it. You can also do a contractual joint venture, like, hey, let's launch this program or this education series together and just test it out. I work with a lot of people who, especially in the online information space, they'll do that first as a way to kind of test the partnership. Do we work together well? Can we make decisions together, right? And I've actually got, I'm just providing this as a resource because for any type of partnership, whether it's a project-based joint venture partnership or like a more permanent partnership, The magic of really doing the work to create a better foundation and create I'll call it a smoother runway for that partnership is at the beginning, right? It's the discussion points, the questions, the topics that people need to cover before they get into business. And a lot of people skip this part. They think like, oh, we'll just figure it out on the fly, or, I'm sure we can work together fine. And then they don't. And so I am going to just provide reference to a resource that's actually a joint venture. It's a contractual joint venture, right? So we're not talking about the incorporated joint venture, but a contractual joint venture. It's got a joint venture preparation guide. And I joke with people like, even if you never use the contract, the guide itself will walk you through like a gazillion questions, all the questions that you should talk about and handle before you go into business, right? And it will just help people consider, because the reality is with any business partnership, like there's a massive, like it's like a 99% likelihood that at some point it's going to come to an end, right? Well, 100% likelihood that it will come to an end at some point, but often sooner than people think. And it's, people don't like to go into business partnerships thinking about like, what are we going to do in the divorce? But it's absolutely what you need to do. It's good business decision to talk about that up front. Well, what happens if this happens? What happens if one of us gets sick, right? Is that would we wrap up the partnership in a different way than if just one of us got bored with the project and wanted out, right? So what are the different scenarios?
Because of that reason, is it better, do more people opt to like just have, like if I would have her as an employee, not an employee, but maybe not as a business partner, but kind of like as an employee kind of thing?
You could. Yeah, you could. If you're hiring, if you're bringing somebody on, and part of it is like, how did the relationship evolve, right? Was it like two people coming together and creating something new? Was it you saying, hey, I need this piece in my business, and finding her can be developed, a variety of ways. But the good question, I'm glad you asked about employee versus independent contractor, because the thing that people often do wrong is they will hire somebody as an independent contractor to deliver essentially like the main deliverable of the business. That should be done by an employee. Independent contractors are truly independent. The work they're doing for your business, they're likely doing for many other businesses.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
Right. So there's a lot of risk if you're bringing in an independent contractor to do the work that essentially should be done by an employee. So that's definitely one way you could approach it. If you wanted to test out the relationship and you're not sure if she's a fit, like many people start with an independent contractor, just to see like, will this work? Are we going to work well together? So I've had clients that will start with a short-term independent contractor, get some things going, get the work going, and then they figure out like it's a good fit, it's going to work, we want this to be long-term, I want this person to do this role every day in the work, and then they'll hire them as an employee. So there's various ways that you can get started. If it truly is a joint venture kind of scenario where you're both coming together and creating a project jointly, and for example, you're going to be creating joint intellectual property, and you're going to be mapping out the nature of the coaching and the structure of the business as far as like your offerings and how you work.
Yeah.
If it's more of a collaboration, that looks like a joint venture, right?
Oh, okay. That's what it is. It's more of, it's a collaboration, or at least I wonder if I could just have my own company and then have her be like the joint collaboration in a program as part of my company.
Yeah.
And
So that would be a joint venture, right?
Okay.
It's a project-based joint venture. And I'm still going to pop in. So this last link that I popped in is to my template store, but I've got a joint venture agreement on there, a template, as well as what I referenced earlier, the preparation guide, which will walk through a lot of the questions to tackle before you get very deep into the relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's
so
a lot
helpful
to think about. If you decide like you really want to set something up permanently, you're going for more of an incorporated business together, then I would try to get a referral for you, which I'd be happy to get, to a Texas-based attorney that could actually set up a partnership for you, whether it's in the context of an LLC, where you are both members, right, or a different partnership or corporation. So you could have somebody help you get that structured if you wanted to do a more formal version of that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you
Yes,
so
well,
much.
exciting. You're welcome. Great questions. And I see we've got a few other folks on the call. You're welcome to stick around, especially if you have any additional questions. But let me check in for a minute with Manisha and Wayne. So hello, Manisha and Wayne, welcome. If you've got questions, you're welcome to unmute. You're welcome to type in the chat. If you're hanging out, that's okay too. I know we all have loads going on. Did I see Manisha unmute?
Hi.
Hi, Manisha. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much for being on this format for us.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think reduce a lot of stress for us. So thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. So, Manisha, where are you in the world?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, also Texas. Yay, strong showing from Texas today.
Yes. And now my question is, I had a joint venture. I mean, not a joint venture. We started a company together with a partner, and now we have not really, it's not taking off. We did it about maybe 6 months ago, a year ago,
Okay.
and then now it's a consultant business. So now he said that this business that we're thinking about is not really what we wanted. So I have another business that I want to use it for.
So you
So
set up an entity. Did you start a formal entity then?
yes, we have an LLC.
Okay.
We filed it with the Texas state. I think the accountant did it for us, but we have not opened like a bank account or anything of that.
And are you both listed as members?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yes, 50-50 as member. We call ourselves, I guess, managers.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So we would like to transfer his portion to mine, which still needs money. But legally, what should we do?
Yeah, so you can do what's called an assignment, right? Where he just assigns his ownership in the LLC to you. You know, if there's no value there, you generally have to like record some value in your corporate books. You could get a local attorney to help you with that. It's not very complex, but you'd want to make sure that it's done the right way. And and then basically you would just update the corporate records with the state so that they take him off as one of the members, and you would be the remaining sole member of that company.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you'd like, where are you at in Texas? What city?
Houston.
If you'd like a referral, I'm happy to reach out to my listservs and see if somebody has a referral. I can do that unless you've already got a business law connection there in Houston.
I think it'll be great if you can give me a referral, because I asked him about it and he said that he will proceed, but I don't know what his procedure is.
Totally.
And I just want to be informed about it, because I don't want to be like ignorant about it. And
right.
I think that he proceeded, but then it's not followed these things that you said that
so you think your business partner is doing something on his end as well to try to handle this?
Yes, he said that he can proceed to
Was he gonna like terminate or close the LLC?
I think that he's gonna do the same thing you saying. He said he's gonna give his share to me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but I really want to be informed about and not turn it over to him and not knowing what the end look like, because I want to be responsible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it shouldn't take much. You could hire a local attorney that would draft up the agreement that you need to be able to transfer his membership to you, and then get some help just making sure that it's recorded the right way, right? You usually just, provide copy of that paperwork to the state and update the corporate records at your local Secretary of State, so that they have what they need to be able to remove him on their side of the records. So it's not very complex. I'm glad that he's cooperative. I'm glad that your business partner is cooperative, so that hopefully you guys can minimize costs and just sign off on the paperwork and get it done.
Yeah, yes, thank you. And I have another question that we form an LLC, but then before that, I was doing some work, like coaching and consulting, and then well, I didn't do the work yet. I signed up for some coaching training certification before we set up the LLC. So with and I don't know if that's like an accounting question, or you may hear this.
Oh, as far as how to handle that cost and like transfer
Yes,
it over to your
yes,
company. Yeah, so you definitely do you have an accountant?
yes.
Your accountant should be able to help you with that. Basically, you just want to make sure that you keep records. You could treat it like a business loan to the company that the company pays back, right? So your accountant should be able to help you document that. Especially, and that happens regularly where people are incurring personal costs right before they actually get to setting up their business, and so they need to square that away. But there are ways to do that. So I'd check in with your accountant. If you don't feel like you've got the right accountant, a lot of people end up as they get down the road in business. I just had to switch accountants last year. And what I tell them on accountants, and I'll grab a link for you, because a lot of people end up with accountants that are not strategic. They can help them with their taxes. They can help them with saving money. They can help them as far as like examining books and stuff, but they're not strategic in actually helping them build their business, get to where they need to be going. And so I always recommend that you evaluate whether you have the right team of professionals, especially as your business grows. Let me just pull up this link for you. Excuse me, because this might help anybody, especially anybody who also sees the recording of this call. I just did a little article on how to choose a CPA for your business. So I just popped that link into the chat. But it's just a quick review of things that you should be thinking about as you are considering, working with somebody or hiring someone. Just a short one, but a lot of people I find are mismatched. They're working with an accountant who's telling them, no, don't set up a business structure because you're not making enough money yet. And they're very, very conservative rather than thinking about personal liability, business strategy, and helping them really be aggressive as far as building and growing a business.
Thank you so
Yes,
thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome, Manisha. And I will, if you want to email me, I am right now popping an email out to my listserv to see if I can get a referral for you. But you can also follow up with me at my email just to remind me so that I can watch for responses to that. Here's my email, info@legalwebsitewarrior.com. And I'll see if I can get you connected to a Houston business attorney.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to sign off. It was a quiet day today, but I'm okay with that. I've got a big pile of work to do. Manisha, great to connect with you. Sana or Sonia, I apologize.
It's Sona. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great to connect with you as well. Okay. Have a
great
great
talking
week.
to you. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Heather.